Welcome to one of Africa's most populous nations, Nigeria. With over 200 million people, Nigeria is a land filled with immense potential human capital, and its people are renowned for their creativity, resilience, and entrepreneurial spirit. Yes, my friends, Nigeria is a land of great promise, and its people are the key to unlocking its vast potential. But alas, all is not well in this land of promise. For despite its enormous potential, Nigeria is being decimated by the devastating effects of the brain drain. The migration of Nigeria's best and brightest to foreign lands in search of greener pastures is crippling the nation and robbing it of its most precious resource, its human capital. Imagine for a moment a nation without doctors, engineers, scientists, and other skilled professionals. Imagine a nation where the brightest minds are forced to flee in search of better opportunities, leaving behind a trail of decay, underdevelopment, and despair. This is the sad reality of Nigeria and many other impoverished nations across the globe. To understand the devastating effects of brain drain on these nations, we must first understand the concept of brain drain. We'll talk about its effects on impoverished countries and why it is happening. Brain drain, the migration of highly skilled individuals from their home countries to other nations, is a growing problem for many impoverished countries around the world. The effects of brain drain can be devastating, leading to a loss of essential skills and talent, as well as exacerbating existing economic, social, and political problems. Many impoverished countries in Africa, Asia, and Latin America are particularly affected. According to a report by the World Bank, sub-Saharan Africa, for instance, has experienced a significant brain drain, with over 20,000 highly skilled professionals leaving the region each year. In some countries, such as Zimbabwe and Sierra Leone, more than 80% of their doctors have left the country. Similarly, in South Asia, India is one of the countries most affected by brain drain, with over 10% of its skilled workforce living and working abroad. The Philippines, another impoverished nation, is also significantly affected, with nearly 10 million Filipinos living and working overseas. The professions and skill sets most affected by brain drain in impoverished countries include healthcare professionals, such as doctors, nurses, and pharmacists, as well as engineers, IT professionals, and scientists. These professionals are in high demand globally, and many are lured away by higher salaries, better working conditions, and better career opportunities in developed countries. What are the effects of brain drain on impoverished nations? One of the most significant effects of brain drain on impoverished nations is a shortage of skilled professionals. According to the World Bank, around 17% of tertiary educated adults from developing countries live in OECD countries, which are countries with high-income economies. For example, in Africa, it is estimated that 20,000 doctors have left the continent to practice medicine in OECD countries, leaving behind a shortage of medical professionals. This has significant consequences, particularly in sectors like healthcare, where a shortage of doctors and nurses can lead to a decline in the quality of care. In some cases, this can result in preventable deaths, particularly in rural areas where healthcare resources are already scarce. Another devastating effect of brain drain on impoverished nations is a loss of human capital. According to the World Bank, the annual cost of training medical professionals in Africa is estimated at $2.4 billion. When skilled professionals leave the country of origin, it represents a loss of this investment, as well as a loss of the skills and knowledge that these professionals could bring to the development of their country. This can have long-term consequences, particularly in sectors like research and development, where the loss of talented scientists and engineers can hinder the country's ability to innovate. This can also have an impact on economic growth, as the lack of skilled professionals can lead to a slowdown in the development of key sectors like technology and manufacturing. Brain drain can also have ripple effects on education and training in these nations. When skilled professionals leave, there may be less incentive to train professionals who are likely to leave. This can lead to reduced investment in education and training, which can create a cycle of brain drain where the shortage of skilled professionals leads to more professionals leaving, which further exacerbates the shortage. This can have significant consequences for the education system in the country of origin, particularly in the STEM sectors, where there is already a shortage of qualified professionals. Another ripple effect of brain drain in poor nations is reduced access to quality healthcare and education for the poor. When skilled professionals leave, they often leave behind a vacuum that is difficult to fill. This can lead to a decline in the quality of healthcare and education, particularly for those who are already marginalized or living in poverty. For example, in some African countries, it is estimated that up to 50% of healthcare workers are concentrated in urban areas, leaving rural areas underserved. This can lead to disparities in healthcare outcomes, as those living in rural areas may not have access to the same level of care as those living in urban areas. Furthermore, brain drain can also contribute to political instability in impoverished nations. When skilled professionals leave their home country, they often leave behind a sense of disillusionment and a lack of faith in their government's ability to provide for their needs. This can lead to a sense of resentment and frustration among those who remain, particularly if they feel that their country is not doing enough to retain its talented professionals. In extreme cases, brain drain can contribute to a brain waste phenomenon, where talented professionals who remain in the country are unable to find meaningful work, leading to a sense of hopelessness and a lack of purpose. This can lead to social unrest and political instability, as those who feel marginalized or excluded from the country's development become more vocal in their demands for change. Another ripple effect of brain drain is the loss of revenue for the country of origin. According to the World Bank, the cost of training a doctor in Africa is estimated at $150,000, which represents a significant investment for many countries. When skilled professionals leave their home country, they often take their skills and knowledge with them, which can result in a loss of revenue for the country of origin. This loss of revenue can have long-term consequences, particularly in sectors like healthcare and education, where the shortage of skilled professionals can hinder the country's ability to generate revenue and contribute to its development. Brain drain can also have a negative impact on social capital in impoverished nations. Social capital refers to the networks of relationships and trust that exist within a society, and it is essential for the functioning of any society. When skilled professionals leave their home country, they often leave behind a void in the social fabric, which can lead to a decline in social capital. This can have long-term consequences, particularly in sectors like healthcare and education, where trust and cooperation are essential for the provision of quality services. In some cases, brain drain can also contribute to brain gain in developed countries, as skilled professionals who migrate bring with them valuable knowledge and experience that can contribute to the development of these countries. However, this can exacerbate the brain drain phenomenon in impoverished nations, as the loss of skilled professionals becomes a self-reinforcing cycle that is difficult to break. What causes brain drain, and can it be fixed? In many cases, skilled professionals are drawn to developed countries by higher salaries, better job opportunities, and a higher standard of living. Additionally, political instability, limited career advancement opportunities, and poor working conditions in impoverished nations can drive talented individuals to seek opportunities elsewhere. These factors, along with a lack of investment in education and training, can create a brain drain phenomenon that can have long-term consequences for the country of origin. However, brain drain can be fixed by a combination of policies and incentives that address the root causes of the phenomenon. For example, governments can invest in education and training programs that provide opportunities for skilled professionals to develop their skills and knowledge. Additionally, policies that incentivize skilled professionals to stay in their home country, such as tax breaks or other financial incentives, can encourage them to remain and contribute to their country's development. Governments can also work to create an environment that is conducive to innovation and entrepreneurship, which can help to attract and retain skilled professionals. This can involve creating policies that support the growth of small and medium-sized enterprises, as well as providing support for research and development initiatives. It is essential to address the political and social conditions that contribute to brain drain. This can involve working to create a stable political environment that provides opportunities for career advancement and the ability to contribute to the country's development. Also, addressing issues like corruption and lack of access to basic services like healthcare and education can help to create an environment that is more attractive to skilled professionals.